Well, the first week of baseball is officially behind us, and 2018 is off to quite an eventful start. So now it's time to evaluate how each of the 30 teams in MLB have fared over the first week of play. Small disclaimer before I begin, my power rankings are typical from the standard ones, not praising the hype teams due to their proposed success, focusing solely on current standings and play throughout the first week. So without further ado, let's get right into the power rankings. Starting off in the basement of the power rankings are the Tampa Bay Rays. The Rays' playing abilities look as dismal as Tropicana Field, with a combined total of 11 runs over their past 6 games, which marks an atrocious beginning for this team, having a sole win due to an unlikely comeback against the Red Sox on opening day. Needless to say, this team needs some work, so buckle up, Rays fans. It's going to be a long season. Another team with pitiful amount of run support is the Rays. The Royals got a glimpse of their upcoming season when they got single-handedly annihilated by Matt Davidson and the White Sox on opening day. Their only win of the season came off a tedious 1-0 win over the Tigers on a frigid Detroit day, as the Royals have had more postponed games this year than they have wins. The weather is brighter than the Royals' potentials for 2018. It's going to be a very long season for Kansas City fans. This team would have taken the number 30 spot had the Rays and Royals not had an absolutely pitiful start. Coming off a lucky win from each series against the powerful Cubs and Red Sox, the Marlins proved they can win more than a single game this season. Nonetheless, not even Marlins fans can name half their starting lineup, while the trust is in Derek Jeter, and it will take him much longer than one single year to breach the 14-year playoff drought in Miami. A team that I would have thought started off on a much better note with a few promising acquisitions they made in the offseason, the Padres are once again showed who they really are. Freddie Galvis and Eric Hosmer have shown their hitting prowess in San Diego, but their rotation has been pitiful through the first week of play. Although I am seeking a slight turnaround for this team, they will need to fix their pitching dilemma if they truly want to prove themselves this season. There's nothing more I can say about the Reds besides the fact that they are truly god-awful. In the Reds' defense, they did play two playoff-caliber teams entering the series with the red-hot Pittsburgh Pirates, but their pitching is sincerely horrendous. Scooter Gennett and Jesse Winker have had promising starts, but Joey Votto, Adam Duvall, and the incredibly overrated Billy Hamilton have averages lower than the Reds' win totals over the past 3 seasons. This team is once again in the pits of a rebuild. 3 postponed games already for the Tigers, more than the amount of wins they have. An absolutely abysmal lineup headlined by a lethargic Miguel Cabrera, paired with a washed-up Jordan Zimmerman as the ace, makes an atrocious duo that earned this team the worst record in the league in 2017. After getting swept in the World Series 6 years ago, this team is now a shell of its former self. At least they have first pick in the draft this year. This team is one massive contradiction of itself. This team's lineup is constantly stacked with power from Adam Jones, Jonathan Scope, Manny Machado, and Chris Davis, but their pitching is a train wreck. As good as this lineup may be power-wise, their inconsistent averages and weak rotation will not be able to sustain this team if they want to contend in the powerful AL East. Enjoy Manny Machado's last season in Baltimore Orioles fans. This team has potential will be absolutely wasted if Gabe Kapler cannot get his head wedged out of his ass. Sporadic lineup changes are causing fiascos amongst the players and fans in Philadelphia. Partnered with lethargic hitting and atrocious hitting, this team needs to reconfigure itself and wake up if they want to contend this year. Maybe Jake Arrieta's debut on Sunday can kickstart something for this team. Speaking truthfully, the A's possess one of the most overshadowed lineups in baseball, their record weighed down with their horrendous pitching. This team is a younger version of the Baltimore Orioles, lacking any pitching to keep them afloat in the fierce AL West. Despite the promising hitting core, the A's cannot afford any players due to their pitiful attendance and notorious Moneyball style, so stay strong, A's fans. This team personifies the definition of mediocre. The pitching is led by a decent but aging Cole Hamels. Joey Gallo is the reincarnation of Adam Dunn, while Adrian Beltre, Elvis Andrus, and Shin-Soo Choo are the only ones who can hit on this team. Matt Moore is an overrated washout, while the team is trusting an outdated Bartolo Colon and a reinvented Tim Lincecum, who is currently injured. This team is a shell of its former self, so keep believing, Rangers fans. At least you have a new ballpark to look forward to in 2020. The retirement home is starting to notice its outdated self early in the season. Andrew McCutchen and Evan Longoria have a whopping combined total of 3 hits and 43 at-bats this season, while Joe Panik's unusual power surge seems to be the only thing maintaining this team, aside from Buster Posey. A solid start from Johnny Cueto and Ty Block earned them 2 wins, but I still do not have faith in this outdated team. Another prime example of a team with an overshadowed lineup with atrocious pitching, the White Sox have a plethora of anticipated young talent in Matt Davidson, Yohan Moncada, Tim Anderson, and Avisal Garcia, along with high power numbers in Jose Abreu. This team has lots to look forward to with the upcoming Michael Kopech, hoping he can revitalize the atrocious pitching rotation. The Seattle Mariners are the prime example of a team that cannot win with an extremely talented lineup, with consistency in the average with D. Gordon, Robinson, and Cano. Bringing back Ichiro Suzuki adds leadership to the Mariners squad that once again failed to make the playoffs simply because they are the Seattle Mariners. King Felix is now past his prime, and the Mariners are trusting Mike Leake and James Paxton to guide them to the promised land. Despite the talented team, they do not have enough to contend with the Angels and Astros this year in the powerful AL West. After facing an unusual 2-year playoff drought, the Cardinals are seeking vengeance and are looking to recapture the NL Central. Carlos Martinez is the only promising pitcher in the Cardinals in their lineup, as Adam Wainwright is aging his way towards retirement. Aside from that, the recently acquired Marcell Ozuna is off to a decent start, and the power numbers should start rolling through soon enough, while veteran catcher Yadier Molina and promising Paul DeJong has started the season with power and average. This team has potential to compete as always, starting the season at a very mediocre level. Despite how hot the Pirates are in the young season, I can only rank them this high due to the projected rankings the Pirates have this season. Single-handedly massacring the horrendous Detroit Tigers and Cincinnati Reds, the Pirates have proved themselves worthy of handling the softer teams around the league. Nonetheless, the frigid Pittsburgh snow is mirroring the likely painful season for this team, but enjoy playing in the nicest stadium in the majors and this pleasant winning feeling. It won't last long. The Cubs started off 2018 with a bang with Ian Happ taking Jose Urena deep on the first pitch of the season, having a mediocre series against the horrid Miami Marlins before dropping another game to the equally dreadful Cincinnati Reds. John Lester, Yu Darvish, and Kyle Hendricks each had shaky starts to the season, using their redoubtable lineup to save them along the way. The Cubs will need to utilize the pitching and hitting core to the fullest if they seek to win a tight NL Central along with the redefined Brewers and Cardinals teams. The Indians will retain their AL Central crown as long as they can resuscitate the abominable lineup that has gotten off to a brutally slow start, losing back-to-back series against the Mariners and powerful Angels at the extent of mediocre offense. 5 of their core players are hitting sub-200, being backed by mediocre pitching. I suspect this team will turn it around, but Cleveland's hitting is in dire need of a wake-up call. And speaking of teams whose offense is in dire need of a wake-up call is the Los Angeles Dodgers, splitting the opening series with the San Francisco Giants, getting shut out twice in the first 2 games before being slapped around by the Diamondbacks in 3 games. A combined 3 home runs over the first 7 games, while only Clayton Kershaw starts the season 0-2 to only 1 sole run in support against the Diamondbacks and 0 against the Giants on opening day. The defending National League champions will undoubtedly turn it around, but due to their bumpy first weeks of the 2018, earns them 13th on the power rankings. Aside from the Pittsburgh Pirates, the Braves are the most surprising team to start 2018 with a splash. This team took advantage of the Phillies' horrendous bullpen, earning them a series victory, moving on to handle the imposing division rival in the Nationals. Preston Tucker, Freddie Freeman, and Dansby Swanson are off to phenomenal starts to the season, proving to the baseball world that they have true potential, while other prospects like Ronald Acuna will be making their big league debuts soon enough. The Toronto Blue Jays have a powerful team that is overshadowed by the Yankees and Red Sox in the AL East. Justin Smoke is off to a tremendous start following his tremendous 2017 season as the Jays held their ground against the highly touted Yankees and the lesser touted White Sox. Accompanied by a solid pitching staff, Smoke, Donaldson, and the Jays will be an exciting team to watch this offseason, off to a solid start in 2018. 2017 Cinderella team is off to a promising start as well, atop the AL Central at the end of the week. A promising series against the Orioles and Pirates have established a decent start in Minnesota, led by veteran Joe Mauer and the powerful bats of Brian Dozier and Miguel Sano. Jose Berrios has started the week with an impressive complete game shutout against Orioles on Sunday afternoon. The Twins have promised for 2018, attempting to dethrone the powerful Cleveland Indians in the AL Central. To the aggravation of baseball fans across the nation, the New York Yankees at the Yankees once again. After dominating opening day against the Blue Jays, Giancarlo Stanton has cooled off drastically with 5 hits and 23 at-bats, with 3 homers, 2 doubles, and 13 strikeouts. Catcher Gary Sanchez is also ice cold, although this team has been carried by the consistency of Didi Gregorius, Aaron Judge, and the supreme pitching performances by Luis Severino and Masahiro Tanaka. This team has a plethora of talent, but need to break out of the confining inconsistencies from their power hitters. The Rockies have the same story every year. They have debatably the greatest lineup in the National League: Charlie Blackmon, DJ LeMahieu, Nolan Arenado, Ian Desmond, etc. Their pitching is not as pretty as their lineup, but better looking than previous years with John Gray, the solid ace pitcher. After a bumpy opening series against the Diamondbacks, they cruised past the Padres, starting the season on a positive note. This team will contend, but they'll need to fully utilize their lineup to compete in a competitive NL West. Fans in Los Angeles have a lot to look forward to from the Angels this season. Angels lineup is loaded: Zach Cozart, Mike Trout, Justin Upton, Albert Pujols, and the formidable young phenom in Shohei Ohtani, with an impressive plate appearance, 2 home runs, while earning his first big league win against the A's on Sunday. This team comfortably handled the Athletics and the powerful Indians in their first 2 series, and will definitely give the Astros some headaches in the AL West throughout the season as long as they stay consistent. There was little to say aside from the fact that the Nationals are the Nationals. Bryce Harper, Max Scherzer, Tanner Roark, Adam Eaton, and other members of the Nationals made mincemeat of the Reds before being bullied by the surprising Atlanta Braves. To the heartache of Nats fans everywhere, this could be Bryce Harper's final season with Washington, but it wouldn't matter regardless of how well they do this year, since they can never make it past the division series. Now, this is probably the ranking that I'll get the most shit for, but the Milwaukee Brewers are a force to be reckoned with in 2018. Christian Yelich and Lorenzo Cain have tremendous Brewers debuts. Paired with veteran Ryan Braun and other solid hitters, the Brewers trounced over the Padres before getting roughed up by the Cardinals. Although Yelich was sidelined with a minor oblique strain, the Brewers have tremendous potential. They just need to learn how to play the division better in order to make some noise in NL Central this season. The New York Mets came out swinging in the first week of the 2018 season. The Mets' performance in the first week of 2018 vividly portrays this team's scary potential when not plagued with the injury bug. Running over the Cardinals and the Phillies in the first game against the Nationals, Yoenis Cespedes, Asdrubal Cabrera, and Adrian Gonzalez have hit tremendously, while their rotation has stagnated opponents' hitting. If the Mets continue to play this way, they will definitely be a threat in a developing NL East. Moving to the top three of Week 1's power rankings, the Arizona Diamondbacks are off to a powerful start after a 93-win 2017 season. Despite veteran Paul Goldschmidt's ice-cold start to the season, the Diamondbacks have been backed by Nick Ahmed and David Peralta, while Zach Godley and Patrick Corbin each had a great start to the season as well, only dropping one game by a single run to the Colorado Rockies. The D-backs obliterated their wildcard opponents, swept their ALDS opponent Dodgers, and took Game 1 against the Cardinals. The Diamondbacks are poised to compete against the toughest teams in the highly competitive NL West, and once Goldschmidt breaks out of his slump and Lamb gets off the DL, the D-backs will be even stronger. Taking the number 2 spot in Week 1's power rankings is the Boston Red Sox. Boston has completely disregarded national hype of their rivals in New York, while the Bo Sox have established themselves atop the AL East. Despite the fact they have played the pitiful Floridian teams of the Marlins and the Rays, the Red Sox did what they had to do and took down the easy teams, marking their dominance early on in the year. Mookie Betts, Xander Bogaerts, David Price, and Chris Sale have phenomenal season debuts, guiding this team to victory all except once this week. The Red Sox want to maintain their crown of the AL East, and it will truly be a blast to watch the revitalized rivalry between them and the Yankees this season. And number 1 was the most obvious choice of the power rankings this week. The defending World Series champions came out swinging in a week of 2018, devouring the Rangers and Orioles, backed by debatably the greatest offense in baseball and the greatest rotation hands down. Let's be honest, when Garrett Cole is your number 4 starter, you know damn well the rotation is stacked. Jose Altuve, Carlos Correa, World Series MVP George Springer, Verlander, Keuchel, McCullers, Cole. This team is just loaded with talent. This team has a good shot of repeating this year, and I have no doubt this team will continue to entertain and impress baseball fans across the nation, easily earning the Astros number 1 spot on Week 1 of the power rankings, where I ensure they will remain for majority